Do you just throw your chicken in the oven and it never comes out the same way twice? It's either underdone in parts or the whole thing is just dried out and tasteless. I'll show you a new technique to get a perfectly roasted chicken every single time. Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Let's Celebrate TV. I'm your host, Peter Lee. On this channel, we teach you all about celebrating. We show you recipes for food, hors d'oeuvres, cocktails, and we share entertaining tips. Now we try and keep it really simple for everyone, especially those of you who say that you just can't cook or entertain, because we know you really can. So if you like this episode, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and watch a new episode every single week. So today's celebration is all about chicken, roast chicken, in fact. But this is a different way to roast a chicken. Now, when most people roast a chicken, you put it in your pan and you plug it in the oven. Maybe it's on a rack, and the bottom gets kind of soggy, and sometimes it doesn't get all the way cooked, and it takes longer to cook. And by the time the bottom is cooked, the top is dried out. Or you try putting it up on a rack, and it's just all kinds of ways that don't always work that well. So we have a new way to do it, and it starts with a very heavy skillet going into a cold oven. So what I did was I took my favorite cast iron and I put it in a cold oven and then set the temperature to 450 degrees. Now as the oven has come up to temperature, it's heating up that cast iron pan. Now, you don't have to have cast iron, just a good heavy oven-proof skillet or pan that will hold a chicken. Now I have here about 4-pound chicken. We need to give a little love before we put it in the pan. Very, very simple technique. We're going to start with a tablespoon of olive oil. I'm just going to drizzle this over a little bit at a time, rub it all in. Now all I did was, this was just a roasting chicken. I took it out of the package, removed the giblets, patted it all dry, and here we are. So we want to get this all over. This is going to help it brown. Now you notice on here, the wings are tucked back. This actually came from the store that way, which is very handy, but you can do that yourself. They're like that, and you just tuck it back. Easy. That way you don't have to worry about trussing it. All right, so you want to get this olive oil all over. Maybe don't use all of it, that's quite okay too. That looks pretty good. Now I have here a tablespoon of salt and a half teaspoon of pepper that I just mixed together. We want to sprinkle this over liberally and really rub it in. That's a key part to this. All over on the bottom too, which a lot of people don't season the bottom of their birds. And if it's on the board, you can just use the board to help rub it in too. You really want to rub it in. It's going to give good flavor, make it crusty, and it's really going to penetrate in. Okay. Now my oven beeped, put a little bit inside. My oven beeped just a few moments ago, telling me it's ready for the chicken. And the chicken's ready for the oven. First, I have to wash my chickeny hands. Hold that thought. All right. Now, what I am going to do with my clean hands, we're going to just tie the legs together. And I wanted to wash my hands off all that extra oil before I attempted that. So this is easy. Just like that. Bring them together. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is just going to help it all cook evenly. Okay, now we have to get the pan from the oven. oven mitts, it's going to be hot. Now, I'm going to leave this oven mitt right here to remind me not to touch this because it's very, very, very hot. And hear how easy it is? This goes right into this hot pan. That's what you want to hear. Now this goes right back in the oven, and we're going to roast this at 450 degrees until the thigh is 135. That's going to take 20 to 30 minutes depending on your oven. Let me get this guy back in the oven and I'll tell you the rest. Alrighty, now the chickie's back in the oven. We're actually in the oven for its first round of going. We're going to let it cook for, like I say, 20, 25 minutes until we hit 135. Now, I'll check it after about 20 minutes with my instant read thermometer. Now, depending on how clean your oven is, you might get a little smoke, but that's okay. It just is what it is. So once we hit that magic 135, we're just going to turn the oven off and let the chicken sit for another 25 to 35 minutes until it comes up to the breast is 160 and the thigh is 175. How easy is that? Your oven is doing all the work for you. And that bottom, when it hit that sizzle, that's going to sear that bottom. It's going to help the bottom of the chicken cook more evenly too. Okay, as you see, here's our bird out of the oven. Quick recap. So what did we do? I put the cold pan in my oven, cranked it up to 450, which heated the pan up as the oven rose to temperature. While that was happening, we got the bird ready with some olive oil and seasoning. We pulled the pan out, got that great sizzle on the bottom, put it back in the oven, 450 for 30 minutes, and we got our 120 in the breast. Then we turned the oven off another 30 minutes and it went up to 160 in the breast, which is perfect. Almost done. What we're going to do now, we're going to take this guy out of this pan, right out. We're going to put him on this little board. He needs to rest. He's been working hard. So we're going to put him back here for about 20 minutes or so. Now notice cloth on the handle. This pan is still screaming, screaming hot. Just going to turn it to make it easier for me. Now we have these lovely drippings, a little more than I need, so I'm going to scoop some out. And I want to leave about a tablespoon of dripping. So I just have a little Pyrex dish that I'm going to put them in. Because this is liquid gold. You want to save this. But you don't need all of it right now, right today. But as much as you can get out. One more scoop should do it. All right, well, there's a generous tablespoon of fat, but that's okay. Let's just put this aside, out of the way. Now, I'm going to crank this guy up. Medium-high heat. All right. We're going to make a pan sauce, because why would you let all of this deliciousness go away? We want to use this. Today, I'm going to make a lemon tarragon pan sauce. All kinds of other flavors you can use, but I'm going to do lemon and tarragon. What's tarragon? This is tarragon. Looks kind of like grass, like a weed or something. You've probably pulled something like this out of your flower beds. And it does have a bit of a grassy taste, but it also has a little bit of an anise taste. It's very wonderful. It's very fresh. Goes great with chicken and fish. So first, I've got some minced shallots right in the pan. We're just going to let these soften. We'll turn this down a tiny bit because this pan is so hot from the oven. So first, some shallots. This is like a medium shallot that I just diced up. Just going to give this a stir. as they're softening, next I've got some Dijon mustard, 2 teaspoons. And these will soften pretty quickly, so we're just going to put this all in. Get some Dijon. Give a little stir. Wow, I wish you could smell this already. Next, chicken stock. I've got a cup of, this is actually homemade chicken stock. You can use chicken stock from a box, whatever you can find. But a whole cup, carefully, in this pan, it's hot and there's fat. Might splatter a little bit. Okay. Now you can turn it up a little bit because you want to keep this cooking. Now at this point, give it a good stir. If there's anything on the bottom of the pan that's cooked there, that's called fond. It's pure flavor. You want to scrape all of that up. Now we want to bring this up to the boil and let it reduce for about 3 or 4 minutes. And that's going to concentrate all these flavors together. Now it's been about 3 or 4 minutes. This is reduced down a little more than half. Now remember guys, this is a sauce, not a gravy. So it's going to be thicker, but it's not going to be as thick as gravy. It's going to be a little loose, but full of flavor. What I'm going to do at this point is turn the heat off. This is still screaming hot. A couple more ingredients. Lemon juice, a couple of teaspoons. Fresh lemon juice, please. The tarragon, and that gives you the tarragon lemon sauce. Again, 2 teaspoons, fresh. You could probably use dry if you can't find fresh, but try and find fresh. Just give it a quick stir in. And now some butter. 2 tablespoons of butter. I just chopped it up into little pieces. And we're just going to dump it in, whisk it in. What's that going to do? It's going to emulsify. It's going to melt down. It's going to thicken this up a little bit, give it some richness that it's going to need. And because butter is delicious. And do use butter, not margarine. Just takes a moment. And this is a beautiful looking sauce. All right. Now let's taste for seasoning. It's very hot. That's good. Just as it is, maybe a tiny bit of black pepper. Just a pinch. And that's our sauce. Now it's time to put this all together. And here we are. It's all put together. Look at this beautiful golden color on this chicken that came out of this oven. It's glorious, perfectly cooked. And here is our lemon tarragon pan sauce. Golden, little flecks of green, the fresh tarragon, delicious. Now, I have to say, I do a lot of chicken recipes, and this one especially is for our friend Dixie, who lives in Binghamton, New York. So Dixie, I hope you're watching because this one's for you. Now, this is going to be our dinner tonight, so I wasn't going to taste it, but I can't wait. So I'm going to sneak a little bit and hope that Phil doesn't notice when he goes to take the glamour shots. So let's just take a little from the back here. Just slice a bite off. This side still looks good. He can take pictures on that side. All right. Beautiful, moist, delicate. Now let's taste it with this pan sauce. We'll just dip it in. He'll never know. Wow, is that good? The chicken is tender and juicy and light. And this sauce is so bright from the lemon and the tarragon, and it marries so well with the chicken. Beautiful, tasty, and easy food to make. So that's our episode. It's my easy roast chicken in a different way. Now, I hope you will all continue to write us and follow us on Facebook. You know you can always come to youtube.com and see all of our episodes, but continue to follow us on Facebook and send us those messages. We love to hear from you. So that's our episode of the day. As always, I will have this recipe up in the comments section and everything you need to know about it. And we can't wait to see you again next Tuesday when you come back and come on into our house and let's celebrate. I'm your host, Peter Lee. Cheers!